Global jitters away on the street amid Sensex weekly expiry. The Nifty stays in the negative territory below the 26,100 mark, with broader indices moving in tandem. Metals, oils and gas and IT stocks play spoil sport.
Tata Steel posts strong Q3 operational update with best ever quarterly India crude steel production led by Jamshedpur and Kalinganagar. India delivers strong growth of 15% while Europe remained weak. Morgan Stanley maintains overweight.
Panacea Biotech has completed phase 3 human trials of the key dengue vaccine across 19 locations in India. If approved, it will be India's first indigenous single-shot dengue vaccine targeting all 4 strains, with the market launch expected by 2027.
Balaji Amines soars after an eligibility certificate under Maharashtra's package scheme of incentives. Now the approval entitles the company's Unit 4 mega project to incentivize worth 258 crores, providing a positive boost to project economies and cash flows.
You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. I'm Kavita Thapliyal. With me is my colleague Srishti Sharma. And next 1 hour is all about your stock-specific questions. That's right, the only show where we answer your stock-specific queries. So just in case you want to talk to our experts or just send across your questions, you can do that on our WhatsApp number that's flashing on the screen, and write down the stock's name, the price at which you have bought it, and the time horizon till which you want to stay put in that particular counter. We will give you technical as well as fundamental solutions and advices via our experts. But before we switch on to our viewer queries, let's just quickly take a market check where again the market is in red totally. We can see market is trying to hold 26,000 as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, again down 0.25%. But look at the broader market, you know, Nifty mid cap 100 and the small cap 100 down almost more than 1%. So clearly, you know, Indian equities are trading lower, and a cautious run into a 4th straight session as concerns over US tariff and continued foreign fund outflows are overshadowing the pockets of optimism that we are getting through earnings growth. And definitely we are looking at selling pressure, persistent selling pressure coming in heavyweight stocks, escalating geopolitical tension that's trickling on the stocks as well. And definitely the investor sentiment looks very low right now. But then also let's look at some stock buzzers over here, you know, where we can see amine counters really trading higher today. We are looking at Balaji Amines and alkaline amines, chemicals also doing good and trading high. Let's look at Oil India, where it's close to days low almost. Kotak Securities has maintained a sell rating and also has cut target price of to rupees 275 from 300. So that's an impact that we are seeing on the stock, also down almost 2.5%. But then look at the 52 weeks high. You know, we've got MCX India on the counter over there, Bajaj Auto and Polycab trading at a new 52-week high. Definitely oil and gas counters are in pressure overall. Hind Petro down almost 2%, BPCL down almost 2%, Petronet 1.3%, and IOC also down more than 1%. FMCG is also turning negative now. Across sectors, we are looking at, these specific counters beating down. Britannia and UBL have also dragged down. Britannia almost 2.3%. UBL is almost down 1.4%. So that's the trajectory, and the market has taken a weak turn, and holding down onto 26,000 becomes very crucial for the market. But then let's slip into our viewer query session now. We've got Kunal Bothra with us in the studio. Kunal, hi, morning, and welcome to the show. And we also got Shamila Joshi joined us. Shamila, hi, morning, and welcome to the show. Let's just take a quick tech check from you, Kunal, and then we'll proceed with our viewer queries also. We'll get them on the phone line. But yeah, very important for the market to hold 26,000 technically, Kunal.
Yeah, it's a very crucial support zone for the index. Good morning, first of all. So I think on the short-term charts, we've seen a good retracement, 350 points almost retraced for the Nifty in the last 4-5 trading sessions. And now we are retesting that 26,000 mark, which I believe is a crucial support on the short term. And you look at the last 3-4 days, there has been so many large cap names, Reliance, HDFC Bank, ITC, Trend, etc., which have seen a sharp correction. And that's, I think, dented the near-term prospects for the indices, because we were cruising quite well end of December and the early start of January. But I think in the last couple of days that momentum has stalled for the indices. So hopefully I think there is no major selling across these large cap names and there are no major gashes across the other large cap stocks. I would believe broadly 26,000 could act as a good pivot support for the Nifty.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Nifty 50. So let's watch out for that. But with this, viewers, let's start taking all your stock-related queries onto the show. During the show, we'll take WhatsApp queries, and some of our callers will also join us on the phone line. And we do have our first caller with us. Mohit is joining us on the phone line. Hi, good morning, Mohit. Good to be speaking with you. Please go on and ask your query.
Yeah, good morning. I got 200 stocks of Container Corporation at 512 a piece. I can hold for the next 3 years.
All right, that's the query coming in on Concor and Sharmila. First of all, good morning. And why don't you advise Mohit on Container Corporation holding 200 shares, buy price is 512 rupees. Outlook for the next 3 years, what should he do?
I think it definitely needs to continue to hold the stock. Yes, I think that, the way we've seen a lot of these uh, mid-cap niche plays behave over the last couple of years, they haven't really given you very good returns. But given the fact that Concor is in a business which I like, the valuations look attractive, as well as I think, since he's a long-term investor and we're looking at a 2-3 year period, I'm very comfortable with the stock at this price. So it's a hold.
It's a hold. And do we have Mohit on the line? Mohit, do you want to ask anything else?
Yeah, recently I heard a commentary from the management of Container Corp. Like they were talking about to procure the cement through rail also. So that
Okay.
would be beneficial for Container Corp, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Sharmila, any take on this particular commentary?
Oh, yes, obviously. And I think that those are precisely the kind of initiatives that you will see playing out over the next couple of years. And overall, as I said, it's the business that this company is in. And when you are talking of moving freight by rail, the kind of movement of goods that we are seeing in any case and the outlook going ahead both look, to my mind, pretty strong. Which is why I said that if you have a 2-3 year sort of a horizon, I'm very comfortable holding the stock at this price. My first targets on the stock, very honestly, would be in the 620, 630 sort of range. When you can revisit and then decide whether you want to continue to hold.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Container Corporation. Hope that answers your query. But let's move on and let's get some of the WhatsApp queries as well onto the show. And the first query that I have is coming in from Jay from Bangalore, where he's saying that his daughter actually has purchased 300 shares of TCS and he's looking for an advice on this. Kunal, what's your take on TCS for today? All these IT majors are under pressure. And 300 shares of TCS, the buy price over here is 3,400 rupees. What's the outlook? Whether to hold, exit, or maybe buy some more at these levels?
See, not to buy more at not suggesting to buy more at current levels because the stock is heading into the results, which is I think due next week. So I think in that sense, there's going to be a lot of volatility for the stock price, and we've seen that first round of volatility coming back into TCS. The stock was cruising quite well at 3,300, 3,350 mark. Generally, just prior to the results, as well as post results, there is a decent amount of volatility. So you may expect swing of say 3 to 5% at least, for TCS from those higher levels. And that's why I would believe that it's always better to take a stance once the results are out. And in case if the price action is positive post results and the stock makes a comeback about 3,300 plus kind of a zone, that's where I would believe that makes sense to try and buy the stock, unless the stock goes into a sharp correction and comes into an oversold territory. So as of now, wait and watch, maybe post results, looking at the strength, assuming if the stock portrays post results, that's where I would suggest to buy or average.
All right, so right now just wait for the results and for the triggers on the counter. But then let's move on, and Shamila, I'll come to you. This is on PCBL. Mr. Nitrajan from Bangalore is holding this counter from November 24th. So he has bought it at 422. It's dropped down below 300 now, and he's really worried. Average holding at 363 and loss almost of 20%. He wants to hold it for a year still. Would you recommend that?
A little difficult, but because I do think that from here you could possibly see uh, the stock maybe correct a little more because valuations look fair and the results haven't been that great. Having said that, maybe I think that given the fact that the stock has corrected so sharply, perhaps just hold on for a bit and let the this quarter numbers come in and then take a call. But I don't really see, very honestly, the stock going up in a hurry.
All right, so that's the take coming in on TCPL. But with this fears, it's time now to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. As we come right back, we will be taking more of your stock-related questions.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, and we are answering your stock queries. But then before we move to our viewers, let's have a very interesting conversation. And yes, Kingfisher Smooth Strong Premium beer is now available here in Rajasthan with effect from Jan 7th. And let's talk more on this. We're also joined by UBL MD and CEO, Mr. Vivek Gupta. Hi, good morning, and welcome to the show. You had also launched Heineken Silver in New Delhi in November. Now, how important are these launches, especially, for these markets, talking about Rajasthan and New Delhi? How are you looking at this now?
Heineken Silver is definitely very strategic launch for us. Heineken is one of the top brands globally, and we are expanding it. But today I'm here in Rajasthan to launch Kingfisher Strong Smooth. It's a mainstream beer, and it is one of the biggest innovation on a mainstream brand. And I believe that this is going to be the biggest bet for us. It is based on consumer needs, where consumers are looking for strong beer, but sessionable beer with less after smell and more smoother experience. And on all of these vectors, on taste, on smoothness, on experience, this beer is designed particularly for these consumers, and we are very, very positive that this will recruit consumers to the category, and it will drive not only brand growth but also category growth.
All right, Mr. Gupta, but give us some sense that what kind of opportunity and the market size do you see in Rajasthan for Kingfisher Smooth Strong Premium Beer?
Yeah, I think I see the opportunity nationally because Rajasthan is the first state where we are launching, and we will expand it gradually to all the other states. There are 23 million consumers who are going to enter legal drinking age every year. And we know almost 65 to 70% of them are ready to try a drink. And beer is always a first drink which majority of the consumers in India try. So we believe that this new recipe will actually appeal to the new users, and it will actually increase more consumer to the category. Now, as far as Rajasthan is concerned, Rajasthan is a very strong beer market. We expect category to grow in Rajasthan. We know Rajasthan also has a lot of tourism, so a lot of people will also try a new beer, and it will have a rub off impact as well. So overall, we are very positive about Rajasthan.
All right, Vivek, just wanted to know, apart from these, any other launches lined up in the next 2 to 3 months?
Yeah, I think we'll talk about them when they're ready. But our first job is to expand this initiative all over India. As you know, Alcobev business is state by state business. So we are just scratching the surface by launching in one state. Our goal will be to expand this innovation to other states, and that will be our priority one.
Mr. Gupta, unusually high monsoon and higher based weight heavy on your Q2 results. These are some of the factors that we have observed, but give us some sense that how is Q3 panning out and what's the outlook going ahead for Q4 and FY27 now, because Q3 we believe that will have all the year-enders kind of sales that we must have seen, right?
I think we are in the silent period. I think we will talk about our quarter results in February. I think today I want to just focus on innovation. But you are right that overall category has a struggle in the second half of the calendar year 25. And as we get into the summer season, we are quite buoyant that, the things which we are building will help us to accelerate growth.
Right. So, Vivek, we understand that you cannot share numbers, but directionally, has H2 FY26 has far been as expected. Are we seeing volume improvement?
I think they were slightly below expectations in terms of category growth. But as I said, our overall results, we can only talk in February when we actually declare our results.
And Kingfisher Smooth Strong Premium Beer is available in Rajasthan, but beyond Rajasthan, which states are you targeting? And how soon can we see this particular product expanding into rest of the geographies?
See, we are planning. See, as I said, we have to expand this to all the other states. We are also learning based on Rajasthan response. We'll get the consumer feedback. We will tweak the program, and very soon we will expand to other states, and we'll share that broadly. Our next plan is to actually look at state of Karnataka, which is our home state, because we are based out of Bangalore. But then we will also expand to other states.
Right. But then, Vivek, commodity prices have weighed heavy on earnings in the last few quarters now. How has raw material pricing trend been? Is a shortage of cans still a concern? And what about glass bottle prices, malt and barley prices?
Yeah, as I said, the commodity prices, I would say, has been volatile. I think, but we are able to predict it better. On can, we still have shortages of can in the country. We are working with the Ministry of Commerce to get approvals around the BIS and some of the other issues we have. But as you know, based on the global economic environment, the volatility on the commodities and especially on imports will remain. But we are factoring that into our scenario planning.
All right, we look forward to that. But with this, Mr. Gupta, we'd like to thank you for taking the time out and speaking with us. All right, so that was the management of United Breweries talking to us about the new addition in their portfolio and how the company is planning to expand and what's the outlook going ahead. But with this, viewers, let's get back to all your stock-related queries then. We have so many queries trickling in, especially through the WhatsApp route. And we do have Sharmila as well as Kunal still connected with us. And let me take the next query. This one is coming from Padmaseva Rao from Bangalore. Kunal, let me have a word from you on this. This query is on Nalco. Padmaseva Rao holding 100 shares, buy price is 130 rupees. Can he expect 400 rupees a piece in this uptrend that we have seen? But I guess for today, all the metal counters are under pressure.
Yeah, and on an obvious note, I think many of these metal counters were getting into a bit of an overbought territory. I would expect that Nalco can correct further from current levels. My suggestion is to book profits.
All right, so that's a suggestion coming in from you. There's one more query for you, Kunal. This is from Prathamesh, Mumbai, and specifically asking you about Vedanta and Lupin. Can they be bought at these current levels for a time period of almost 6 months?
Not really. Again, I'll suggest to wait out for this phase of correction. Maybe these stocks can correct by another 5% to 7% broadly from current zone. That would be a better level for both of these teams.
All right, so that's the take coming in on the pharma majors. But the next query, Sharmila, is on delivery. When Bhardwaj from Coimbatore is holding 300 shares at a buy price of 422 rupees, can he go ahead and buy more? He's looking to hold this for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yes, I think if your time horizon is 3 to 5 years, definitely I think you can add more. What could be better, of course, is to, since we are in the earnings season, we will hear quarter numbers from these companies in the next 15, 20 days. So you can wait for numbers and do it. But, I'm comfortable given the fact that the time horizon is long. Valuations are reasonable. And again, this is a business that I like. Again, over there, they have sort of the numbers they have given and they have sort of proved their capability. So yes, it's a decent stock within the mid cap space. You can add more, and especially since you're looking at a 2 to 5 year horizon.
All right, so long-term horizon, good to hold, and in fact, you can add more also. Sharmila, I'll come to you again. And this query is on Canara Bank for 2 years. Mr. Balakrishna from ODP wants to know this. He has bought this at 155, 500 is the quantity, and wants to hold it for 2 years.
Yes, once again, I think, since we're talking of overall, I think this is one sector that has sort of done well. in this last year against a backdrop of a whole host of sectors and stocks that haven't really delivered much. And I think the sort of basis that we could build for these stocks doing well, where we are in a cycle where interest rates are correcting, overall numbers are looking better for a whole host of these stocks. It makes sense to have an exposure to sort of mid-tier PSU banks, and Canara Bank is a strong name within that. So yes, I think it's a hold for me.
All right, that's a hold coming in on the banking major. But we do have our next caller on the show. We are being joined by Mr. Neeraj Verma. Hi, Neeraj. Morning. Good to be speaking with you. Please go on and ask your query.
I was asking for, I'm having BHEL 200 shares.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having ITC hotels, 200 shares of ITC hotels also, and ITC 150 shares.
Okay.
So kindly advise.
Neeraj, would you like to help with the buy price of ITC hotels and ITC? Because I believe for BHEL, the costing is 246 a piece.
Yes, that's right. And ITC hotels is or 240 something. Actually, I lost my message. Don't remember. So.
Okay, no problem. That's the query coming in on 3 counters. And Kunal, let me quickly take it from you. ITC Hotels is something that he's been holding close to 240 rupees. BHEL on your screen, 246 is his buy price, as well as ITC. We all know what sort of a movement ITC has seen of late. But what's your advice on all the 3 counters?
See, I think if you're looking at this as a short-term play, say for another 2 or 3 months, then I would believe that BHEL at current levels of 300, 310 approximately, I think it's a good range where you may consider booking out profits and wait for the stock to go back into a correction. ITC Hotels, it's the 5th consecutive month, if I'm not wrong, where the stock is going through a correction. So maybe I think in the next month or so, the stock may find a near to medium term bottom for itself. That's where you may consider averaging out. But for ITC specifically, after the news flow which came out in the last couple of days, I would believe that the stock price would take a lot of time to come back into a decent recovery for itself. So would not suggest an averaging out on ITC at current levels.
All right, not suggesting ITC at the current levels. Now with that, it's time for a short break, but then post that we continue with our viewer queries session. Keep sending us your queries on our WhatsApp number.
Power generation stayed largely flat in Q3, slipping 0.3% on year, according to Elara Securities. Weak output in October and November was offset by a sharp December rebound. On Indian Energy Exchange, power jumps 12%.
India's economy is set to accelerate as the NSO estimates real GDP growth at 7.4% in FY26, up from 6.5% last year. Services remain the key growth engine. However, nominal GDP growth is pegged at 8%, a crucial input for upcoming budget calculation.
US Ambassador designate Sergio Gore is set to arrive in India within days as New Delhi and Washington work to steady strained ties. A close aide to Donald Trump, Gore is expected to focus on repairing relations hit by steep US tariffs.
Sources say the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs has proposed the budget session of Parliament to begin on Jan 28th. The economic survey is likely on January 29th, followed by the Union Budget on February 1st.
Back to Buy Now, Sell Now show where we get you answers for all your stock-related queries. And viewers, we still have half an hour left onto the show and we will take a lot of these queries that are already trickling in. We have Kunal and Sharmila with us, and the next query that I have is coming in from a viewer on HG Infra. Vara Prasad from Hyderabad and a long-term investor. Sharmila has been holding shares of HG Infra, 165 in quantity, and he's sitting at a 42% loss is what he's saying. Any advice here, Sharmila? What should he do? Should he go ahead and average out his buy?
No, I think averaging is not something that I would recommend, very honestly, because we have seen a lot of these mid cap stocks correct quite significantly, and the recovery could be slow. Also, valuations look good, so I would recommend that he holds what he has, but I don't think that you should be averaging.
All right, so that's the take coming in on HG Infra. But then let's move on to our other question, and this is Mr. Subrat Mukherjee. Shamila, Power Grid for almost 1 year. Investment time horizon, he might want to exceed 1 year also. But then, yeah, current market price, you think he can initiate a buy?
Yes, but I would recommend once again that you sort of approach a slightly SIP type of approach, because this is earning season. So wait for numbers. But overall, again, a stock that I like, a sector that I like, and valuations again seem reasonable. So if you have a sort of a long-term view, definitely I think you could look to enter Power Grid.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Power Grid. But Kunal, the next query is coming in from Hindranath from Chennai, long-term investor. He's been accumulating BEL from 105 rupees onwards from 2022, and now he's sitting at an average price of 157 rupees, holding 310 shares. What's your view here?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, and the stock has rewarded the viewer over here, because it's now trading at almost 420 odd range, and it's very close towards the lifetime highs. I think around 430, 435 mark. It's been an exceptional mover without any doubt. I think it's been a leader for the entire defense pack, BEL, and I think it continues to march on the higher side. Looks attractive even at current levels. I don't see any reason why the viewer could probably have to book profits over here. But I think if you have a longer term time horizon, continue to hold on.
Continue to hold on. Bharat Electronic, that's a view coming in from Kunal. Shamila, this question is on LT Foods, and okay, so this is a question specifically for Kunal, but then it's a long-term view. So Shamila, I'll come to you first. So he's Krish, his name is, and he's holding LT Foods 250 quantity at 448, and from his buying price, it's come down. He wants to hold it for long. So how is the buy price? Should he average it, or what's the outlook?
Outlook is good. I think if you're talking of long term, maybe the near term could be a little more, you could see a little more correction. But once again, a sector that I like, within that, this is a fairly decent stock, and valuations are also reasonable. Results have also been sort of okay, so I would recommend a hold.
All right, recommend a hold. Kunal, what's your take?
So I'll also recommend a hold on LT Foods, and I think at current levels, in fact, if possible, closer to 350 marks, say 350, 355 range is where I would even suggest to potentially venture out to average further.
All right, that's the take coming in on LT Foods. But on your screen, viewers, that's Nifty. That is now below 26,000 mark as well. And 38 out of 50 constituents are trading in the red. So the selling pressure is seen to be intensifying on the markets. Not just Nifty 50, but even Nifty Bank is down more than 250 odd points. But let's get back to all your queries then. And the next query, Sharmila, is coming in on transformers and rectifiers. I believe that the earnings are due today, where Nikhil Sharma is holding 20 shares, buy price is 503 rupees. What's your long-term view here, Sharmila? Any take?
Oh yes, this is again, sort of the power and those related stocks is definitely a sector that I like. So I would recommend a hold. Again, valuations seem reasonable. Let's listen to the numbers today. But I think this is a good stock and you need to hold it.
All right, so that's the whole recommendation. Kunal, I'll come to you. This is Mr. Patrick Rodriguez, and he wants a short-term prospective view on, he's holding Reddington, 5,000 shares at 299, and the view is only for a month, Kunal.
So I'll suggest a hold. I'm not sure the results date for the stock price, because if it's within the month, then maybe that could be leading to some bit of volatility. But assuming if the stock price continues to trade in this manner in which it's been doing in the last 2-3 weeks, you might expect the stock to head towards 300 to 13 odd range over the next 3 to 4 weeks. But the only catch over here is that in case if there is event in terms of results for the stock price, the view or the volatility could probably change the direction of the stock price.
All right, that's the take on Riddington. But Kunal, the next query is specifically for you. This query is from Kishore, writing to us from Mumbai. He has bought Mazgaon Dock, holding the shares at a price of 2,425 rupees. He wants a 6-month view here.
So I'll suggest a hold on Masgao Dock. I think if you purchase at lower levels, it means that you're looking at this as a more strategic investment or a trade. My belief is that maybe the worst for many of these stocks could probably be behind. We could be looking at a point where many of these stocks over the next 3 to 6 months could go back into a revival. But my also, advice would be to try and extend this time horizon, because these stocks in the last 1.5 odd year have gone through a major correction. Masgao Dock was a stock which was almost at 3750 levels, 3800 mark, and that stock is now corrected towards 2400, 2500 zone. So which means potentially if you hold it for the next at least 4 to 5 quarters, that's where the real potential could get unleashed for many of these stocks. So if these stocks over the next 6 months start to move up higher and you build in a good cushion to your buy price, I would suggest to try and extend your time horizon further.
All right, Kunal, this question is again for you because this is Anju from UAE and she's writing on Ujjivan Small Finance. So she is in profits. She's invested since last 15 months, but then is it the right time to book profit, or what are charts saying? Likely to hold for more short term, and will her returns increase?
See, it's a dual nature chart. Dual in the sense, on the short term basis, when I look at this over the span of the last couple of years, and then projecting maybe another 3 months or so, the range of 60 to 63 could be a zone where the stock may go into a resistance of sorts or a pause. So if you're looking at this as a trading play, then maybe closer to 60 and 63 range is where you may consider booking out say partial profits over here for Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. But this could also mean that the stock is trying to get back into a breakout on the long-term charts, and something which the stock had visited in 2022-23. So the levels of 63 was seen in 2022-23 for Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, which means after a gap of more than 2 years, the stock is now coming back into a reselective mode. So long-term charts are very strong for Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Short-term wise, maybe the stock can take a bit of a halt or a pause at the range of 60 to 63.
All right, that's the take coming in on Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, liking the stock for a long-term bet. The next query, Sharmila, is coming in on 2 counters. One of them is Bajaj Consumers, wherein Sanjay from Mumbai has bought the stock at a price of 360 rupees. He wants a 2-year view here. And he also has Hyundai Motors, 7 in quantity, buy price is 1960 rupees. Here too, he's looking for the next 2-year outlook. What's your take, Sharmila?
So for Bajaj Consumer, the valuations do look a little expensive, but given the fact that this is a sector which, the products as well as consumer durables, etc., this is the sector that I like, and you're looking at a sort of a 2-year horizon. So given all that, I think it's a hold for me. The other stock was Hyundai Motors. Once again, I think we are seeing a resurgence in the passenger vehicle space post the GST cut, and a lot of stocks have responded very positively. I think two-wheelers are off absolutely to the races, but within the passenger vehicle space, Hyundai Motors is a significant name in the Indian context. So again, if you have a 2-year sort of a perspective, I think continue to hold what you have.
All right, it's a hold on both the counters recommended by Sharmila. But then time for a short break, but you don't delay and keep sending us your questions.
Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now, and let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries. And let me take the next query, and this one is coming in from Murli from Andhra Pradesh. Yes, this query is coming in on CSB Bank. And Kunal, your take on CSB Bank? The stock has seen a very good run-up off late on the back of like all these gold finances companies were doing very well. But what to do now? He's holding 144 shares, buy price is 550 rupees, and he wants a 1-month view here.
See, I think this is what exactly happens, when stock prices go into that euphoric mode. that's where traders would want to, investors want to participate, thinking that these, moves would keep on replicating on the upside. You have to be very, very cautious about where you are entering into these kind of themes or stock prices. At levels of 550, 560, I think that was on Monday itself, where the stock price had reached those levels. The RSIs for the stock was upwards of 85 to 90 for CSP Bank, and those are very elevated levels you have to be cautious of in terms of entering. I think from the next 1 month perspective, if you ask me, maybe there could be a bit of a bounce back towards 520 mark for the stock price, but I think there could be a possibility that the stock may fall further from current levels. So maybe after a couple of days, you might see a mild bit of a bounce back, because it's been 3 consecutive days of selling for the stock on the short-term charts. But post that bounce back, I would believe that the downtrend could resume for CSP Bank. So you'll have to be a little bit more on the cautious side over here.
Right. CSP Bank, stay cautious. Kunal, other question coming in for you, and this is on Nalco. Sanjay wants to know, he bought it at 95, 500 quantity. What would you recommend, and till how long?
See, now what's happened is on the weekly charts, assuming if the stock closes at say 330, 335 kind of a zone, say by tomorrow also, we could be looking at the stock forming a bearish, candlestick pattern on the weekly charts for the first time, I think, in the last maybe 2 years or so for the stock. So that indicates that we are looking at a more of a exhaustion zone for the stock, where the prices may face a lot of resistance on the upside. So it's better that you start booking out profits over here at current levels, and in case if the stock say rallies towards 335 to 340 range, that's a good zone where you can look to book profits, and then wait out for this phase of correction which could come by into the stock price. Right now, as I said, that many of the stock prices are at a point where the RSIs are upwards of 80 to 90 for many of these names. So that's where I would believe that you might see a process where the stocks would go into a correction and the RSIs would come back into a neutral territory. That's where you can consider to buy back.
All right, that's the take coming in on this particular counter. But the next query that I have is on Kalyan Jewelers. And Sharmila, what's your view here? Venkat Ramani from Bangalore has been holding the stock. Okay, he wants to know, is this a good buy at current levels? He can hold on for the next 12 months.
Overall, I think that what we have seen is from the jewelry space, a lot they've really delivered very good numbers, and the stock valuation also looks reasonable. So once again, perhaps have a slightly sort of a cautious approach to buying. Don't buy your entire quantity in one go. But yes, having said that, this stock definitely is sort of a stock that you can look at buying at current levels.
All right, next question coming in from Mr. Krishna, and Kunal, I'll come to you. Bajaj Electrical and Tata Chemicals. Mr. Krishna is in loss of almost about 20%. He wants to know the strategy for short term now going ahead in both of these counters.
See, I think Tata Chemical is something which I think seems to have formed a near-term range or a support at the 730 mark. It's been trying to show signs of a recovery in the last few days. Maybe there could be a chance that the stock may come back into a decent recovery. I would suggest averaging out for Tata Chemicals if the stock crosses 800 levels and confirms a close on a weekly basis. That could be a point where you may consider averaging out so that you can get into the recovery phase a lot more quicker. For Bajaj Electric, on the other hand, the stock is still very weak on the charts. And for the stock to come back into a revival, it has to break past above a series of major resistances, 500, 550 mark. These are two major hurdle points for Bajaj Electric. I'm not sure whether the stock has enough momentum or any kind of event over the near term which could trigger this kind of a rally into the stock price. So you'll have to be a little bit more patient over here. And only once the break of 500 to 550 happens for Bajaj Electric, that's what I would suggest to average out.
All right, that's the take coming in on Bajaj Electricals. But the next query, Sharmila, is on KIMS, wherein K. Narasimha Reddy has bought 60 shares at a price of 733 rupees. What's your take here?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the stock name.
KIMS Hospital.
Yes. Okay. So overall, I think this is a sort of a space that I think will do well going ahead. Given the fact that overall, I think selective surgeries are up, etc. Their numbers also have been fairly decent. Valuations are also fairly decent. So I think yes, continue to hold what you have.
Okay, let's move on, and Yeah, this is a question from Mr. R.K. Ahuja, and Shamila, again, it's a 3 years time frame. Dixon Tech, Trent, and Keynes Tech. He wants to know the entry point for these stocks.
No, I'm sorry. I think that you better take a technical view on that.
Okay, Kunal?
Which one you mentioned? Trent?
Yeah, Trent, Keynes Tech, and Dixon.
Yeah, I think I'll avoid on all three of the names as of now, because structurally all three of the stocks have broken below their major supports on the longer term charts. So there has to be a first degree of a breakout for these names. Maybe I think Trend, if the stock confirms, say a breakout of 4250, 4300 mark, which was the recent swing high, that could be a first level of a breakout. For Dixon, that level could be closer to 13,200 to 13,500 range. And for Keynes, because the concern is that the stock has fallen down after a series of negative news flow, which could be a major, governing news flow for the stock price, you may have to be a little bit more cautious with the kind of quantity which you're buying. But then for Keynes, that level of breakout could be around 4,300 to 500.
Perfect. So that's the take on all the three counters. But then, Shamila, I'll come to you quickly. Dimple from Mumbai has bought Reliance, and she wants to know if she can buy Reliance for long term right now. And also Sanofi, she's bought 25 shares again long term, 4290. So yeah, your advice on both these shares.
Also, for Reliance, I think definitely if you're a long-term investor, you can look to buy. For the simple reason that I think that for now, Reliance have to look beyond their the old businesses that they were in, and more for all the sort of the new age businesses. And we've seen the recent listing of their geo-financial space, but we can possibly going ahead see some a listing of both the telecom play as well as the retail play. Both, according to me, are delivering good numbers. So it's definitely a stock you can look to enter. Which was the other stock?
Sanofi.
Sanofi. Sanofi again a slightly more sort of it's how should I say? Slightly more complex play, a good MNC. So again, I think if you're looking to enter, I think the price is also reasonable at this point in time. So you could look to enter.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Sanofi as well as Reliance. But with this, we are completely timed out in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Thank you so much, Kunal and Sharmila, for taking the time out and speaking with us. But it's a goodbye from me and Kavita and the entire team. Thank you so much for tuning in. He warned the world before the last crisis. He's warning again.